The night was a vast, looming abyss, cloaked in shadows that seemed to stretch infinitely beyond the boundaries of perception. An oppressive stillness hung heavy in the air, suffocating any sense of tranquility that might dare to linger. I had been on the road for hours, the solitude of the night becoming a relentless companion that clung to my senses like a specter refusing to relinquish its grip. As I guided my automobile through the labyrinthine roads that wound their way through the desolate countryside, an eerie sensation clawed at the edges of my consciousness. The beams of my headlights cut through the inky darkness, revealing fleeting glimpses of gnarled trees that stood like ancient sentinels, their twisted limbs reaching out as if to snatch at unwary travelers. The wind whispered through their branches, a haunting melody that whispered secrets of forgotten horrors. My destination was a distant town shrouded in legend and whispered tales of malevolent forces that held dominion over the land. It was said that the very earth beneath its streets was tainted with an otherworldly malevolence, a sinister influence that had endured for generations. It was a place that inspired fear and curiosity in equal measure, and I found myself inexorably drawn towards it, as if guided by some unseen hand. As I continued my journey, a sense of unease settled over me like a heavy fog. The road seemed to stretch on endlessly, the passing scenery becoming a surreal and twisted tableau that danced at the edge of my vision. Shapes and forms seemed to materialize from the darkness, only to dissolve back into obscurity before I could fully comprehend their nature. A sudden chill gripped the air, causing my breath to catch in my throat. The temperature plummeted, and I could see my exhalations billowing before me like ethereal specters. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and an overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over me like a tidal wave. It was as if the very fabric of reality had shifted, and I was left teetering on the precipice of an abyss that threatened to swallow me whole. My headlights suddenly flickered, casting erratic shadows that danced across the road before me. Panic clawed at the edges of my mind as the engine sputtered and coughed, its rhythmic hum giving way to a discordant symphony of mechanical protests. I slammed my foot on the gas pedal, willing the beleaguered machine to respond, but it was as if some unseen force held it captive. Desperation surged through my veins as I scanned the desolate landscape for any sign of help. It was then that I saw it, a faint glimmer of light in the distance, like a beacon cutting through the suffocating darkness. With renewed hope, I abandoned my crippled automobile and set off on foot, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The path ahead was treacherous, fraught with unseen obstacles and hidden pitfalls. Each step felt like an eternity, the ground beneath me shifting and writhing as if in protest of my intrusion. The light grew brighter with each passing moment, its ethereal glow beckoning me forward with a hypnotic allure that I could not resist. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I stumbled into a clearing bathed in an eerie, unearthly radiance. The source of the light was a dilapidated mansion that loomed before me, its crumbling facade a testament to the ravages of time and neglect. The air was thick with a palpable sense of malevolence, and I could feel the weight of centuries of secrets pressing down upon me. As I approached the mansion, a sense of dread gnawed at the edges of my sanity. The walls seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, and the windows glowed with an unnatural light that seemed to emanate from within. A cold sweat trickled down my spine as I pushed open the creaking front door, the hinges protesting with an agonized shriek. The interior was a labyrinth of decaying grandeur, the air heavy with the musty scent of decay and rot. Tattered curtains billowed in phantom breezes, and the walls seemed to shift and warp like living entities. I navigated the labyrinthine corridors, the oppressive silence broken only by the distant sound of my own labored breath. In a forgotten chamber at the heart of the mansion, I stumbled upon a room that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The walls were adorned with grotesque paintings that depicted scenes of unspeakable horror, their twisted forms writhing and contorting in a grotesque dance of agony. A gnarled tome lay open on a weathered pedestal, its pages filled with eldritch symbols and incantations that sent a chill coursing through my veins. As I studied the forbidden text, a sense of dread washed over me, the weight of its dark knowledge threatening to consume my very soul. I was not alone in the room. Unseen eyes watched me from the shadows, and an insidious presence coiled around me like a serpent. The air grew thick with an otherworldly presence, and I could feel the boundaries of reality beginning to unravel. With a sense of mounting horror, I realized that I had stumbled upon forces beyond my comprehension, powers that had slumbered beneath the surface of the world for eons. In my arrogance and curiosity, I had awakened an ancient evil that hungered for release, a malevolence that sought to reclaim the world that had long been denied to it. As the walls of the mansion began to pulse and writhe, I knew that I was trapped, bound to a fate that was inexorably entwined with the eldritch horrors that lurked within. The very fabric of reality seemed to twist and distort, and I could feel my mind unraveling like a frayed thread. Madness beckoned, a siren song that promised release from the horrors that surrounded me. And so, dear reader, as I pen these final words, know that my tale serves as a warning, a cautionary tale for those who dare to tread the path of curiosity and obsession. The darkness that dwells beyond the veil of our reality is a realm best left undisturbed, for within its depths lie terrors beyond imagination, and a fate worse than death awaits those who dare to seek its secrets.